message in its raw form. And I saw this title. And I said, wow, this seems pretty interesting. So let me see what the body of the note entails. So I looked at it and I said, yes, this is a good word. All right, so my inclination leaned towards this topic. So as usual, I jumped on the internet. I didn't use dictionary.com because I didn't think it would give me an accurate meaning or the meaning that I would like. So I went and Google, and I Googled the word "don't settle for less." And while there was a meaning, I saw 51 quotes that is aligned with this theme, don't settle for less. And I selected a few of them, only 8 out of the 51. So I'll read them to you. I would not be able to memorize all of these. So I have them here on a bit of paper. So here we go. Number 1. Never settle for that which is easy and comfortable, or necessity of seeking that which is difficult and uncomfortable. And that was famously said by Frederick Lenz. Here is number 2. The most exciting, challenging, and significant relationship of all is the one you have yourself. And if you can find someone who loves you and you love you, well, that's what they quote. Well, that's just fabulous. And that was said by Carrie Bradshaw. Here is another one. One day, you will wake up and be so glad that you did not settle. You will be so glad you did not give up. You will be so glad you did not cite yourself to someone else's peace, and you chose instead to anchor yourself in the steady rhythm of grace. That was said by Morgan Harper Nicholas. I love this one. There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. And that was said by the famous first black South African president, Nelson Mandela. Here is another. We are at number 5. 3 more to go after this. Settling is the art of taking the easy way out. Man, it will work, but you will never know what was truly in store for you if you had the courage to do what was right in your heart. And this was said by the Better Moms Project. Here is number 6. A ship, and when I saw this one I laughed. A ship at the harbor is safe. But that's not what a ship is for. Let me say that again. A ship in the harbor is safe, but that's not what a ship is for. A ship is for sailing. Why is it in the harbor? And that was said by John A. Shield. Well, number 7, I wrote in red. Just change the black to red. All right? And here is it. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it, meaning fear. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid. Say it's all right to be afraid. But he who conquers that fear. That's the better man. That was done again by the famous former prisoner, Nelson Mandela. And here is the last one. Obstacles don't have to stop you. Ride over them. Fight the obstacles. Well, I add that in. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Listen to this carefully. Figure out how to climb over it. Go through it or work around it. And this one is unknown. Today, as we contemplate the subject, do not settle for less. How many times we as God's people have settled for less? If we encounter a challenge, and if we encounter some difficulties, some of us, and I'm underlining the word some of us, we just give up, we throw in the towel. But those who have reached height, those who have been successful, they can tell you that it wasn't easy. There were some difficult times. And I have heard some stories, even with the famous black basketball player, Shaquille O'Neal. He was told by his high school coach that he would never play in the NBA, that he couldn't make it. And he was left out of the college team. But somebody saw him and somebody picked him up. And I am glad that he did not settle for less. And the rest is history. I want to challenge the people of God today that we should have that kind of spirit, not to be satisfied with the status quo. Here are some nice words that I clicked on the synonym of the meaning of don't settle for less. Here is one. Persistent, determined, resolute, unyielding, courageous, brave, bold, daring. And I could go on and on. But I think we can meditate on these. So our long reading today, Brother Noel, Genesis chapter 32, gives a very fascinating story. And it tells about a young man that was favored by God. We know the story of Jacob and Esau. And although Jacob was the second boy, was the one that God selected to be blessed. And I personally believe that Jacob and his mother jumped the gun. I didn't think that they need to play a trick in order to achieve the blessings of the Lord. I firmly believe that the Lord would have worked it out. He would have found a way. But his mother devised a scheme. And he went along with it. And we see there that he double-crossed his brother. He hit him when he was at the weakest point. And that's how the devil is. Because after Jesus was hungry, after 40 days, what did the devil said? Make these stones into bread. Because when a man is hungry, you need food. So he was vulnerable there. But Jesus was firm, was unwavering, was unyielding, was bold, and was there. So if we could keep the story of Jacob in view, after he supplanted his brother, his mother again advised him to run away to Padan-Aram, his uncle, his mother's brother. And when he ran down there, we could say that it was payback time. And it seems as if the trickery runs in the family. Because the mother was tricky and her brother was tricky. Laban, her brother, was tricky. So it was no wonder that Jacob was a little tricky. So this time the table was turned. And instead of Rachel, the love of his life, he got skilled-eye Leah. And he was shocked when he woke up and saw that this was not the woman he was excited about. And to continue in the story, we see that Laban made some agreements with him with regards to wages, with regards to pay, with regards to remuneration. And from the story, we realized that his uncle tricked him 10 times, changed his wages on him 10 times, broke the agreement. Yes, boy, you get what you pay for. And at this time, as we maximize the story, he was on his way back home after a long time in Padan-Aram. As God would have it, God revealed himself to Jacob and says, time to go back home. And here is what I have seen. When God have a work for you, when God have a purpose for you, there is nothing that can derail it. Nothing will derail it. When he has a purpose for you, he will always fulfill his purpose in you. So, if you think you are the least, if you think that you're a nobody, just remember, it's not what men say. It's not what the coach say. It's not what your teacher say. It is what God says. And on his way back home, he remembered that, you know what? He two-timed his brother. It tricked him. So he thought about how am I going to face my brother? Have you ever had dilemmas in your life that you don't know what to do? You don't know how to work it out? You want to see a path? And all your faculties you try to put together, to plot a way, to devise a way. But somehow it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. You see, but Jacob devised a plan. And looking at it, it seems as if it would work. Because what he did, he divided up his entourage in different sections, different divisions. And he said to himself, this is how I am going to do it. I will send some before, and by the time he reached to me, that is Esau, his heart would come down a little. Not bad. But there was no guarantee, right, that would work. So, probably troubled in mind, probably sweating a little, probably stressed out, he went to bed. And brothers and sisters, as we listen to the story, and most of us know the story. And again, I go back to say that when God's eyes is upon you, He's going to be there for you. He's going to see you through. But of course, you will need to make an effort as well. And in this story, we are going to bring out the word persistent. We are going to bring out the word determined. We are going to bring out the word resolute. We are going to bring out the word unyielding. We are going to bring out the word courageous. We are going to bring out the word brave or bravery. We are going to bring out the word bold and daring. That was Jacob. So, in his dream, or in his trance, or his vision, whatever it was, sometimes I wonder if this was half a vision or half real. I wonder sometimes. So, he encountered an angel. And then he began to be fearful. And said, yes, I am going to die. I see God. But he came to his senses. And he knew that because he had to face his angry brother, he needed a divine intervention. Remember, don't settle for less. But how is he going to get this divine blessing? how is he going to get the divine freedom? How is he going to get the divine power to go ahead? You see, brothers and sisters, in this life, things are never going to be easy. And as we face our challenges, it's okay to be afraid. Because Mr. Mandela said, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over fear. So although he was fearful, but in order to succeed, in order to be victorious, then we got to find a way to press on. As children of God, and as we journey on our way, we will always encounter difficulties. Some of them will make us tremble, make us afraid, make us quake. But brothers and sisters, if we could find the courage, if we could find the persistency to overcome our fears, to conquer our fears, the things that bother us, if we could be brave enough to confront the things that bother us, instead of laying down our hands, instead of satisfying with the status quo, instead of saying, I am only human, instead of saying I'm not the only one, instead of saying, why me, Lord? But what we are seeing in Jacob is that he fought with the angel because he had a hungry brother to face. And what we see in his boldness, in his daring action, is that he needed something. You see, brethren, how much do we want it? You see, if we should turn it a little on us as believers, how much do we want God to do something for us? How much do we want to grow? I am putting it to you today that we should borrow the words of David. He said, one thing have I desire, and that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. If we are inconsistent, how are we going to claim the blessing of the Lord? How is he going to come true for us when we are inconsistent, when we are scared about serving him, when we prefer our jobs more than him, more than his work? How is he going to come true for us when we prefer our feelings more than the work of the Lord? You see, with Jacob, he determined in his mind that I must get a blessing because I can't face my brother without some divine pouring out. So the story tells us that as it was about to, the daylight was about to come on, and the angel that he wanted to know his name, why, was about to leave. The angel said, okay, you have been in my presence. You have gotten enough. You see, Jacob was bold. Jacob was determined. And Brother Noel, the songwriter declares, when Jacob met the Lord, upon, yeah, he wrestled. He was determined. He did not give up. Is there anyone today who wants that kind of blessing? Let me ask the question again. Is there anyone today that wants that kind of blessing? We just sang, I want that kind of blessing. People of God, you got to be determined. You got to have that fight in you. You got to be persistent. You got to be unyielding. You got to be resolute. That's the only way we will reach our goal. That's the only way we will achieve. But if we settle for the norm, we will never climb the ladder of perfection. So my challenge to you tonight, it's not even night yet, this afternoon. Do you have the spirit like Jacob? Do you want that kind of blessing? What is it that you want from the Lord? Are you satisfied with your current position? If you believe that you need to make progress, if you believe that you need to get higher and to come up higher, what are you doing? Are you wrestling like Jacob? Is there a push? Is there a fire in you? I admire the spirit of Jacob. Even when the angel said to him, it's time, man. Go now. It's time. Enough is enough. Oh, my brother, sister. He would never let go because he wanted a blessing. So he would never let go. What persistency? I'm not sure if our challenges are like Jacob, because he had an angry brother to face. So therefore, he wanted to make sure that the wrath of his brother was pacified, because he could not stand that wrath. Because when a bloodthirst man attack you, it could be serious. Yeah. So, brothers and sisters, we need to pursue our dreams, pursue our goals. We need to fight for it. In the words of the Apostle Paul, do I have it here? I don't comprehend. It didn't reach here yet. But what I do is that I press towards the mark. I make some effort. Yes, I am daring, although it seems out of my reach. I am daring. I am going to get it. I must have it. And brothers and sisters, when you talk about a daring man, that was Jacob. Because even when the angel was trying to fend him off, you see, but some of us, when we are faced with a challenge, when someone says something that is not so nice about us, what do we do? What do we do? Yeah, but look at the spirit that was in Jacob. Although the angel say, man, get away, enough is enough, he held on and said, so long as I live, I will not let you go. I need a blessing. I need it. I want it. I must have it. That's the kind of spirit God's people need to have. Today, we say about this generation, this dispensation, why are some of the things not happening in church? I wonder if it is because we don't have that kind of spirit, like what Jacob had. I wonder that persistency, that determination, that unyielding spirit. Oh my God, that braveness. And if I could use a common saying, grab the bull by the horn. Hold the bull by the horn. Demand it. I need it. I want it. Which God's people would have that kind of spirit. And whatever we pursue, whether it be personal, whether it be church goal oriented, if we can get that kind of spirit, I put it to you, brethren, that we will achieve more. We will accomplish more. Because it's okay to be fearful. It's okay to wonder. But Nelson Mandela says, the one who conquers the fear, just like Jacob, the one who is able to ride over a wall, to climb a fence, although it may be high and may seem out of reach, but that persistent spirit, if the people of God could somehow get that, our situation and position would have been better. As I watch the time, I'm going to cut this other example short. I also looked at Elisha and Elijah. So Elijah was a senior man. And of course, he was about to depart this world. He done his time. Did his time. But the other thing that I liked in the spirit of Elisha, they said to him at Bethel, stay here, man. Elijah said that to him. Stay here, man. I'm going to go over there and do my thing. Yeah, but you see, because this man was unyielding, because he was determined, because he was consistent, he said, no, you ain't leaving me behind. And the prophet, the sons of the prophet came and confirmed it. You know your master is going to leave today? He said, hold your peace. I know, man. But you know what? I'm not letting go like Jacob. Because I need something. The question is, how much do we want it? Because Elisha needed a blessing just like Jacob. When his master said to him, stay here, man. Oh my God, you talk about a picture of persistence. So, the next town they went to was Jericho. And Elijah said to him, please stay here. Stay here, man. As God liveth, stay here. Mean your master is persuading you to stay, to hang on here. But here, Elisha said, no. And once again, the sons of the prophet came to Elisha and say, you know that your master is going to leave today? He said, be quiet, man. Keep it down. I know. And that's why I am pursuing this. That's why I am going to be consistent. And I'm not leaving him. Because I want that kind of blessing. People of God, do you want that kind of blessing? Oh my God. I wish we would spend more hours in the presence of the Lord. Instead, if we should check out the hours and divide it up, how we spend it in a day, in a week, we might even look back and say, no, this is not right. But we see here that Elisha wanted to spend time in the presence of his master as he was about to leave. Why? Because he had a aim. He had a plan. And he was bold about what he wanted. So finally, having left Bethel, now at Jericho, they are going to go to Jordan. And once again, as they approach Jordan, Elijah said, stay here. I must go by myself over there. Elisha once again says, no, 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 no. Are we going to say no to complacency today? I'm going to ask the church, how much time you got the urge to get up and pray, and instead you allow the feelings to take over and the tiredness win because there's lack of persistency, because there's lack of determination, because there's lack of resoluteness. But as we contemplate these stories today, I am asking the people of God, please, if we could practice the spirit of Jacob, when you want something, especially something spiritual, don't give up. Even if the pastor tell you to give up, just like in the case of Anna, when the pastor, the priest run her away, say, you're a woman of Belial, you're drunkard. Come here every day like that. But she was determined. She had a goal. And because of her persistent nature, her continual bravery, we see that she was rewarded. And as we wrap up the story of Elisha and Elijah, we see here that his master Elijah had to confront him. What do you want? Brethren, brothers and sisters, what do you want? What do you want out of life? What do you want? Are we going to ask a hard thing? Or are we going to be self-satisfied and say, I am good enough, I am okay? I am baptized, I am in Mount Zion, I keep the Sabbath, and that's okay. But although Elisha was in the presence of the great man, he asked for something hard. Some people would say, leave some of your powers with me. Some would even say, leave your power with me. But take note what Elisha said. Isn't he brave? Isn't he bold? Isn't he daring? The man asked for a double portion 2 times. Oh my God. Double portion of your spirit. Oh, what daring attitude. People of God. People of God. Are you daring enough? No, we know that in this life, it's not going to be smooth all the while. There are going to be challenges. But how do we approach our challenges? How do we deal with them? Take the example of Jacob. Take the example of Jacob. He held on until he accomplished what he set out for. And be brave. Look beyond the ordinary. Look for something greater than what you currently have. Some of the politicians use this phrase. I am not associated with any of these parties. But when they say this phrase, it's catching. Yes, we can. I'm going to say to you, yes, you can. You can be persistent like Jacob. You can be brave and determined and bold, just like Elisha. And in these two stories, we see that these 2 men who did not settle for the ordinary, they achieved their spiritual goal. We can put this right across the board. What do you want to achieve? What is your goal? You have been reminded today that anything you desire, it's in your grasp. You just have to give it the effort. Fight for it. And just as how these 2 men was rewarded, I am saying to you that you too will be rewarded. So, brethren, what do you want? Each of you, what do you want? Go for it. It is within your grasp. The prayer of my heart in His name. Brother Noah.